All right, I'm back. I had some coffee. We can do this. I just wanted to comment really quick on using one versus two strands of thread for doing thread painting or for filling a shape with long or split stitch, excuse me. So this is with a single strand of thread, and this is using two strands of thread. When I made these little squares, like I wasn't concentrating on anything except filling the space because I was testing to see like how uh, I used a yard length, so how much does a yard fill so that I can calculate my floss cards, like how much floss you guys will need. So I'm just showing you so you can see like the difference in the texture. Clearly this one is going to have more texture. This one looks smoother, and so I don't know, it's up to you guys to decide like which you prefer, what you want to use on your mouse fur. You can do the entire thing with a single strand. You can do the entire thing with two strands. I do a little bit of both, which I don't know if that's more or less confusing, but basically when I have like more space to fill, I'll use the two strands. And you can see, yeah, there's a lot of texture. I mean, it's a mouse. It's supposed to be furry. I mean, if you use a single strand, it's still going to look like fur, though. It'll just look more like polished, more clean, I think. So again, up to you. I just cut this out so I would remember what the colors were called. So these are the colors we're using on our mouse. It's definitely more, this makes the color look very brown. It's definitely more of like a brown gray, especially in this light. This looks like blue to me right now. It's weird. So yeah, okay, and then what else was I gonna say? Okay, so we're not gonna do the shovel, but to do the shovel, it's basically like kind of how you did the carrot here. Just do some kind of padding. You can do a chain stitch, you can do split stitch, whatever, and then you're gonna cover with split stitch here, you're gonna cover with satin stitch here, and then up here you kind of have to switch to kind of a hybrid or whatever. I think I did a split just because it was easier. When you use black, I find that you can't really see the stitch direction when you're done anyways, so don't worry too much about it. And then, so the mouse, sorry, so much talking. What are we stitching? So the things at the bottom, in theory, you'll want to stitch first, like the things in the background. So you'd want to maybe do the tail first, and it's thread painting, but it's essentially just like a couple lines of split stitch. So it's like split stitch that they're dark, and then the not so dark, and then the highlight, and then, you know, kind of like a row of each. The feet are gonna get pretty covered by the dirt, so I didn't really spend a long time like defining the toes or anything. And then from there I kind of started on the body going down like this, right? Because this overlaps that stuff. So basically what I'm going to do is kind of like this section of the mouse on camera, in theory. That's my goal. I can't stitch the whole thing on camera. I'm not sure anyone wants to watch the whole thing being stitched on camera. So I'm going to be referencing this diagram and my actual stitched mouse over here, and just kind of focus here first. So I'm going to focus on the body first. That's what the instructions say to do. So I have, this is this color here, which it doesn't look like that at all right now. So I'm going to start filling. Again, I'm not going to do the shovel, but if you want to do the shovel first, you can, or you can do it after you do the body. You can use two strands for this like I'm using, or you can use a single strand. So this is basically, I'm using this darker color here because it's a shadow, right, for the head. And you may find, I don't know, my brain just wants to work this way. Your brain might want to work this way instead. I mean, technically the fur that's like here would be covered by the fur that's here. Right, because this is on top. I'm not going to worry too much about it. So I'm just starting that first row. You can see I kind of bounce around a bit. Make sure you're paying attention to your stitch direction diagrams as you do this. I think this stitch direction actually I put on the printed fabric. I can't remember now. It hasn't come in yet. Okay. So something like this. What are you? Okay. Looks like a beard. So in this direction, we have a little bit more of this darker color that's behind the shovel. Because that's the shovel's shadow. And there's going to be some more here, but I'm going to wait. So now I'm going to move to 640. This color looks so weird in this light. Like, it looks blue-green to me. It's really confusing my brain. So I kind of started explaining, and then I don't know what I started talking about, but I sometimes like to go across and just kind of put in, what would you call these? Just kind of guideline stitches, or just my initial, I don't know, exploratory stitches. One thing I wrote on the instructions is that there's not a lot of patches of fur anywhere on the mouse that are purely like one color only. There's a lot of blending. So we will be doing more of that soon here. As I lay more this kind of base layer down, is what I like to call it. Again, if this is way too much thread, you can just use a single strand for all of this. if you want, like when you fill any of the sections on the mouse, you can always use a pen and kind of mark out where the color transitions are supposed to be. So you don't have to keep referencing. Well, I would still keep referencing the diagram in the photos. What are you? Get out of here. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to this color. So we were dark, and then we went a little bit lighter, and then we're going dark again. You may prefer to do like the arms first. I've gone back and forth with that if I like to do the things in the foreground and then the things in the background. I think I actually potentially started with the mouse head when I was playing around with this. And that's fine. You can totally do it that way. You just want to come back at the end probably and add like some overlapping stitches. All right, so here we're just, I don't even know if we're gonna fill like a whole row here with this darker color, because in this tiny little triangle we have here, we have to somehow transition all the way down to that lightest color. So I'm making these very tiny, and they will be partially covered once I start adding more rows. Okay, let's see. I might not need this again until I work on the head, so I'll put that out of the way. So I think I should pause and do the the paws. So that is with the lighter of the pinks, 3 strands. Let's see, what did I call it? Padded? Yeah, I call it padded satin stitch. So you can outline and then stitch on top. Usually I just do some kind of like excessive number of stitches of satin stitch and call it padded satin stitch. I guess you could do like a inner satin layer. And these will be like on top of the shovel, obviously. And the guidelines will be covered by the shovel. So just do your best to make little mousy paws. Just so cute. check the shape that I did. I don't even know what that shape is, but I feel like this is fine. Something like that. And then the same over here. There's my padding, and then I'll cover it. Okay, little paws. You can see I'm not too worried about their shape. Just little oval-ish shapes. I'm trying to trim this. Come here. Okay. Alrighty, so, oh, you know, I should have kept that. Oh, well. I was just saying we could use that to do the padding on the arms, but I didn't think too far ahead on that. Actually, I have some pink. No, that's for the nose. Here's the pink for the ears. We'll use that. So this is going to go up here, but we're going to steal it for a minute, and we're going to add padding here. So I'm just doing a split stitch. If you want it thicker, you could do a chain stitch. Okay, something like that. You could even do it on this side if you want. Since we're here, I'm actually going to pad the little chin. That just gets a stitch. There's no really anywhere else to go with that one. And then this little mouth muzzle situation will pad this. Okay, so I'll use this pink later for the ears. Alright, now we're padded here, so let's see, looks like I need that 640 again. This is it. And I'm gonna come add some 640 down the arm. see it's obviously different stitch direction than what we did right above it. Helps us see the difference there. Since I'm here, I'm gonna fill in some more of this. This feels like way too much of the dark color. We'll see. We'll see how we can make that work. Okay, that was 640, right? All right, so now we're gonna go to the next color down. I lost my piece of paper a while ago. And we're gonna keep going on this arm. If I could see the back of my hoop, I would pull that through the back. Alright, with this color, there's like a little bit of a highlight here on the arm. We'll define that more as we go. getting awfully crowded in here. Okay, let's move on to that lighter color and see what happens. So here is where I end up covering that padding. I always get surprised when I'm doing these, like they go through some pretty awkward stages where it's like, wow, this is not gonna look good. And then slowly things start to come together. Now you can see what we really want to pad the shovel so that it doesn't get lost. As I add more stitches and more colors, it gets kind of thick. Again, I'm using the 2 strands, so it'll be a little different if you just have one. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the single strand. So I like to kind of do this base layer. It helps me kind of know where I'm going and not get too caught up in the details too early. So I have this super dark brown, and I have a single strand of it here, and I'm just going to use it to add just a couple of stitches really close to the neck here, which is going to help that neck stand out. If you want, you could probably when you just all the stitching with this really dark color, you could wait until the very end and do all of it. I put like a tiny little stitch right here. Make sure that arm doesn't get lost. So this is like behind the arm. And then it's like more over here. It's subtle, but it makes a difference. Alright, I don't think we're going to use that again until we do the ear, so I'm going to park this up here. Okay, and then the next darkest color will be this. Whoa, why don't I have very much? I don't know. And honestly, I don't think I need any. But I'm going to use... what is this? What is this? 640? I think so. Yeah, this is 640. So I'm going to use this color, and see how there's like a pretty distinct line here where I started adding the 640. So I'm just going to come in here and do a little blending so that's not quite so stark of a transition. Okay, what's this? What the heck is this? I didn't even notice that when I was stitching, which is pretty impressive. Okay. Oh god. Alright, I might need more of that, we'll see. But I'm gonna move to the next color, which is the 30. See, I cut out that piece of paper and then I lost it. 3032 here. So if you look at the diagram, you can see I did add a little bit of that on the chest just to lighten it up and kind of make it a little less one-dimensional. So you can come in here and add just a few subtle little lighter stitches, and they just kind of blend in there. So again, like I was saying before, like none of the fur is just like a solid color. There's a lot going on, and that makes it look more like realistic, right? These little highlights and lowlights. It's like when you get your hair done and instead of dyeing it just like one color, right? Although that's what I do because I'm cheap. Okay, so then come on the side here and blend between the lighter color, the lightest color, and 640. The color that I'm using is in between those two, right? So I can use this color to blend between those colors here on the arm. Okay, what I really want is the lightest color. So this is at the edge of the body, so we want to add a little bit of stitches that kind of go beyond that arm, so we have that fuzzy look. You can see I'm really getting up there to help with the blending. Yeah, getting there, huh? I feel like on my sample one it was even lighter over here, but you know, no two of them are gonna ever look the same. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here that I just did, and kind of come back in with that lighter color. So laying this whole thing up. Remember, I was worried about how much of that dark color I had, and now you can see it's barely there anymore. I just needed to have a little faith in myself. And it's hard to tell, but you know, we used a lot of colors in there, right? And I don't know if you can even see all the colors anymore, but I think it just adds that dimension. Like I was saying, with the hair and the lights and the... makes it more realistic, right? The more colors you use. Oops, I'm having a little tangled situation down there somewhere. But I think I'm gonna take a little pause soon so that I can kind of restock my colors, and then we can move on to the head. Whew, I have a big tangle. Okay, let's see. Where'd this come from? Why is it? Okay, I don't know what happened. So I'm doing even a little bit more blending here from the white. It's not really white, but it's the closest we have to white, so I'll call it white. And there's I even added a little bit of this color at the bottom. So you can see, I mean, you can understand why we call it thread painting, right? There's a lot of back and forth. You could just keep stitching forever. I wouldn't recommend that. If you're working on this and find yourself getting stuck or overwhelmed or anything, you know, put it aside, take a look at it again in the morning. One thing I like to do is to look at the piece in a mirror. Kind of tricks the brain into seeing it fresh. I feel like this arm is like a little too dark still, so I'm just trying to lighten it a tiny bit with this. Okay, let's see, I need to pause and get more floss. Alright, let's go to this ear. So the middle piece is this nice pale pink. I feel like that was exceptionally sloppy, but that's okay. Oh my. Okay. I'm gonna cut this. So we do not need any more light pink. Alright, next is this color, the 3032 again. can move to this color now, even though I'm in the wrong spot. $6.40. Sorry, I just found it. Oh, okay. That's what that is. There was a needle just hanging out. Alright, so once it's mostly filled, I did like a split stitch outline with this 640 to be like the rim of the ear. Okay, and then to finish the ears, we use this dark single strand to do an outline with split stitch. Okay, and now we can do that nose. We're gonna use the dark pink for that. And I'm gonna do like a padded satin, kind of like how I did the paws, where it's just kind of like a underlayer of satin and then an overlayer of satin. That looks way too round now. We don't want mouse to have a clown nose. It's a bit of a clown nose. It's all right. All right, I'm gonna trim this. So eyes are the same. Probably don't even need to demo, but mouse might look creepy without eyes. This is actually 3 strands from what I was supposed to use for the... Oh, wait. Oh, no, I told you guys just use 3 here, too. Perfect. Everything's fine. So you can use whatever stitch direction you want for the eyes. I think that's good, actually. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna go back. Oops, where is it? There's so many needles. So when I'm not demonstrating, I do not do this with my needles. I use one color and then use it till I'm out. Grab a new one. Alright, this is my 640. And it's gonna be coming out on all sides of the nose. And then it's gonna start going up the bridge here. So I'm going to switch for a little bit to the 3032. What's this? This is not connected to anything. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start putting this closer to the eye here. Okay, not done with that. Now I'm going back to my darker, my 640 again. I'm just keeping an eye on my color diagram. Okay. So now I'm going to go to this color, 3787. And that's going to go kind of around the whole face. And here it can have some overlap with the ear. Make sure the ear's connected to the head, right? So this will go all the way down to kind of the outside of that muzzle. So I'm not covering the split stitches here. This is like a little bit of the fur showing from behind. That was a good game of thread chicken right there. Okay, so I have my dark color again. That single strand. And we can add some definition here at the tips with this dark color. Really, I need some more of that 37, whatever the heck that was, 3787. There's some around here somewhere. We'll come back to it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this 32, this lighter color, and start filling in the muzzle a bit more, and near the eye. I think we're ready for the lightest color now, so I'm gonna do, what's this? Oh, it was just a needle, not attached to anything. That's cool. Okay, let's see, alright, I don't know what stitch direction I used here, but now I do. Okay, so for the little chin, we're gonna do vertical stitch direction. So for this, we're covering that small stitch I did with the pink. Something like that. Could probably build it up even more to have more definition here between the chin and the neck. Or you could come in with this dark color again and add just a couple teeny tiny dark stitches. Would help as well. Okay. So now I'm going to do the muzzle. Start with a couple stitches that help me keep my stitch direction where it should be. Looking good. And we can come up by the eye here. Add a few stitches for the eye patch. It's very small on the side. You might just want to do it with a single strand if you're not already. I don't want my mouse to look angry. Something like that. And then we have, it's too low. Do our little eye highlights while we're here. Cute. Oops, I pulled too hard. We can get it back out. Yeah. So then from here, what I would do is kind of like I did here, right? Where I went back in and blended between to just soften everything up. I'm also missing my little stitches here, so we can do that real quick. Those are just little straight stitches. This is not the right color. I think I used, I can't remember if I used 640 or 3787, but it's going to add a couple stitches to give a hint of little individual paws. Something like that. Cute. And then you can use a single strand of the white to do the whiskers, as many as you want, or skip that. Here, gosh, I can't even see the white around the eye. It's so faint. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I want to say right now. I'm just going back and forth and looking at the two. Like I said before, I don't think it's possible to recreate one identical to one you've done before. There's always going to be variation, and that is fine. These are mice. They're not all identical. That would be weird. Anyways, I hope you have fun and take your time. Send me an email if you get stuck, if you have any questions. I'm happy to help.